I do group phone calls on Messenger with more than one person when I do my meditation.
We're on.
Okay. And he's on now. Okay.
We're on the other screen.
So do you want to tell everybody there in case they're listening, or do you want to tell people there that?
No. Well, this is just so we can we can hear you. And you can hear anybody else. Anybody else? I don't know. I'll quickly look at this, Liam, to see if there's any sign of someone else phoning. And it doesn't say.
There's something here, isn't it?
Oops.
Yeah. And Ryder, David's Dr. Salty. I joined the video chat. They have it.
Yeah, so people can join. Even anybody can join now. So it's a matter of whether they do or not. I don't know.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yes,
but we got you.
So we got you. That's what's important.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start.
Oh boy.
All right.
Hot diggity. Casey
Whoa.
says I'm out of here. Ran out of here like his tail was on fire. Better close the door while we've got a chance.
Norman now at it.
Yeah, well. Que sera.
Que sera.
Que sera, sera. Will be.
The future is ours to see.
We're having a what was her Doris Day?
Doris
Day moment in here.
She just died last year.
Did
Oh
she?
yeah, she passed one.
Aw, that's right too.
She hadn't been in show business since I think the early 70s.
Yeah. Okay.
So hi.
Hi and hello.
And hello, anyone there?
Hi.
Oh yeah, we got a few peoples.
They let them know they can
Devine
also,
and Richard.
They could also watch on the other if they want.
Oh, I will make
Make it known to them.
I will make it known to them.
We're experimenting. David is a mad scientist, you know.
Yes, I did know that.
Officially. Oh, pardon me. We're doing it, folks. We're doing something.
Good. So we got to start talking about Mars, though,
Okay.
because I got to get my head into Mars.
Yeah.
And
There's your book.
we got lots of stuff going on with Mars in my personal horoscope these days. Where's the book I have? Just
Right
in
there.
my bloody hand. No, that isn't it.
Mm.
It's a little one. Yeah. Okay. Things went poof. Oh, I've got to go look for it.
Oh gosh.
So give me some Mars stuff now. Let's see.
Mars
Oh, here it is. Under my.
There you
It's
go.
hiding under the sheet. of
hiding
paper
under
in
the
plain
Mars
sight.
thing. Okay.
So on the, where are we? On the Tree of Life. La la. We've done Malkuth, we've done Yesod, we've done Hod, we've done Netzach, and we've done Tiferath, the sun. So now is Mars, this one, also known as Geburah, and the Hebrew is Madim for the name of the planet. And Mars, so the idea here is we're reversing up the lightning flash, which is the process of creation coming down, boom, 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 into manifestation. So here's this stage of things, which is when energy comes into the physical. It is from the eternals into across the abyss into Jupiter. Jupiter is known as Jehovah. It is known as it is sort of Zeus as well, and Jupiter obviously in the Roman, and Zeus in the Greek. And he's the figure here of the Father God. Yeah.
I can't see anything that you're writing. All I can see is you.
Oh yeah, it's not on the wall. Oops.
Sorry.
No, well, you're looking at the weird thing. You gotta look at the other one.
There you go.
Oh, never mind, you're fine. You can look at it later.
Can you see him now? There he is.
Anyway, you're still not gonna see the thingamabob I'm showing here, so just turn that back. And we'll do this as well. Here we are.
Yes. I can hold that.
Good.
I can put, so this is where we are.
Okay.
Okay, and he's just,
So the Mars here, the red one, Mars is under, so the lightning flash of creation goes boom, 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 boom. So from the supernals up here, the eternals, and then it crosses the abyss, energy crosses the abyss, and the first sphere it hits is Jupiter, Hesed, also Zeus, but it's all, and Jehovah. It's this idea of the great old Father God kind of image here. And from that, the energy, but here's it's called the Great Benefic. So Zeus, it goes into Jupiter, Hesed, the Great Benefic, which is all about the spreading of this, of energy and the abundance of the energy and the gifts. So the idea here is the old Father God, the Emperor kind of character is the giver, the generous kind of deity energy. So what this Mars does then is it's the warrior. So we go from the generous old father to the warrior figure and of Mars, and so it's a kind of balance. It's this like where Jupiter is generous, Mars is the idea of Saturn is up top here. Saturn is the great feminine in its limitation. You can't have anything creation. It's like creation without the idea of limitation. Maybe Einstein's curved space idea, the idea that there's limits, the idea that things aren't just energy always going outward. There has to be limits. And because if there weren't limits, there would not be any manifestation. There wouldn't be any physical life without limits to the energy. It has to create the limits, have to create the body, the enclosure for energy to enter into. There can't even be a channel, a lightning flash of energy unless there is some sort of limits. There's places where the energy doesn't go to create that channel, and that there's limits that it goes into to create manifestation. So we take that step down in the pillar of severity and the left-hand path, which is on the right side of the body, to an expression of here's your limits then. Kind of, you have the theoretical idea of limitation in the Great Mother, which is the eternal womb that results in manifestation in the physical, the ultimate feminine. So, however, coming out of that ultimate feminine into the next kind of octave level is actually the warrior. Because here it's like there's limits, and the warrior is the character, Mars is the character that's going to see that those limits are enforced.
right.
I was just rereading some stuff about the more traditional Hebrew Kabbalah, and what that's saying is, well, you can't just have Jupiter generosity all the time. We would be flooded. There would be no growth. There would be, the idea here is that Mars, or Geburah, there's a constant swing between the generosity of Jupiter and the limitations of Mars. Mars creates the balance that it sort of decides with the Justice cards connected there too. So that's the idea that Mars is deciding where the generosity of the deity in Hesed is going to be worthwhile, where it's going to make a difference,
Right.
where it's not going to be wasted or abused. So that's sort of this justice idea in the warrior. Now, which makes me want to jump right into the tarot cards.
Mhm.
And so now I got two canvas to show them to though, so.
Well, I can show you this one. You do that one and then we'll switch.
Okay,
Okay, which one do you want to start with?
let's start with fire.
Okay.
And fire, I got the Thoth deck on one thing here. And fire. And of course in the Thoth deck, they have labels,
Right.
keywords. So we're strife here. Strife.
Right.
I'm just going to quickly go through these. So I remember that card that Dallas is showing to
Yeah, it's
a
called,
few
and
other
this
viewers.
one is struggle.
Struggle.
I think they call
They
it.
call it struggle.
In this, yes, yes,
And that was Wands. Struggle.
yes, struggle.
So she's struggling, I remember.
Burdensome commitment.
Oh, so
Looks rather burdensome too.
the Five of Swords is even worse. Crowley labels it defeat, the keyword defeat. But, and in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, of course, it's like a struggle with swords, which I got that one too. Now, it's not full of blood and gore necessarily, like the deck that you have, Dallas.
No, it says
But
quarrel resolved unsatisfactorily.
unsatisfactorily, nobody's happy. Nobody's happy about that.
No.
The Wands, the Strife card that's shown in the Rider-Waite deck is like a clash of egos. If you're familiar with that. It's like to kind of just all these guys like fighting with rods and nobody's getting anywhere.
Mhm.
Get into the cups. Cups is always kind of crappy. Crowley calls it disappointment, the empty cups, the spilled cups, the classic image in the Rider-Waite deck of the spilled cups. There's still two there, but he's kind of focusing on what's gone wrong here, because of course cups are emotions,
Right.
and feelings. So this is the image of sort of some disappointment.
Yeah.
That Crowley labels his card disappointment, but sort of some of the feelings have dumped out. So it's there's a classic idea here in the Rider-Waite that he could be focusing on the better stuff, but he's focusing on what he's lost. I like for this one, particularly from this image, I like the I sometimes will even use when I'm doing a reading for somebody, I'll say, oh, well, great expectations, great disappointments.
And this is what they call it here is disappointment.
Yeah.
Or giving up pleasure.
Giving it, oh, yeah, it's
A sense of loss.
sense of
He
loss.
certainly looks like he's lost.
Great expectations, great disappointments, no expectations, no disappointments.
Ran out of wine.
That's the disappointment.
It's the disappointment in this one. Yikes.
And then, of course, the Pentacles, which here we just have kind of the image of 5 pentacles in a reverse pentagram. Crowley labels it worry. But of course, here's the more classic image in the Rider-Waite. And there's a reminder of the positiveness in this. You got to think when these cards that I'm holding right now were designed at like the turn of the previous century, like in the early 1900s, that the kind of idea of a lame person and the idea of like a elder, like a woman, and actually any basically any widow that wasn't in like the upper crust would have really been living in the poorhouse or something, right?
Mhm.
So here we have this couple of a lame person and maybe an elderly spinster. Why aren't they in the nice warm building? Not because, well, maybe they're not welcome.
Possibly.
Probably not even welcome. So you got your idea here of what's actually the positives of friendship, of working together, in kind of the 1980s punk kind of DIY, do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because,
This deck states it is finished work, but with little satisfaction.
well,
He
that
doesn't
makes
look
sense.
happy about his, it's Casey. Do you want to show
These ones over there?
those ones
Sure.
there? Okay, and you can give me those, whichever ones you were doing there. And we'll just quickly go through again. No, you've given me the cherry, oh, hang on. Gotcha.
But actually, I want the chariot, because
Okay.
that is one of the
So
image.
there's the Five of Cups in the Rider Waite.
What are we on here?
Shows a disappointed
Five of
looking
Wands.
fellow.
She's odd. She's fighting off little guys. You got to figure she's like the giant woman. She'll handle it, but it's pretty odd.
There's the Wands, which is the
Swords,
struggle.
which is very. He's about to step on somebody's neck. He's like got the upper hand for sure.
Yeah.
A little overly aggressive there. This guy, he's lost most all his bunks there.
Yeah,
He's upset.
looks like there's the Five of Swords.
This guy's just eating his grapes. He's doing all right.
Well, he doesn't look very happy about it, though.
I don't know, maybe they're subpar.
They could be sour grapes.
That's it. Sour grapes.
And there's the
What
Five
am I
of
gonna
Pets
do?
with the poor
Crappy
old
year
lady
for wine.
outside the church. Not that they're gonna help her much.
That's probably not the church. It's probably the club.
Well,
Yeah, it could be.
it's a stained glass window. I always associate that with.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not have a red handle?
No, I didn't. So we're gonna go with the orange, which is another color for it. That's why I put on my red shirt.
Move it around.
We only went 3 weeks ahead when we got the colors.
No, we had red.
I don't.
But that's all
All
right.
right, onward. So I want to read a little bit because this is. Where'd it go?
What you looking for?
This, which is the open book. My life's an open book, sort of.
Uh-huh. Here, I gotta get my pen. Important stuff.
Geburah, strength, the 4 5s in the tarot. Symbols, the destroyer, whatever that is, the warrior king, the power of judgment, the eliminator of the useless. Whoa, wait a minute, that sounds a bit harsh.
Eliminator of the useless.
The pentagon, the Tudor rose of 5 petals, the sword, the spear, the scourge. Oh, well, getting fun now. Mars, color red and orange in the higher realm. And then there's this, a bit from the Sefer Yetzirah that I want to read because there's stuff in there. And Binah is the radix of red. So we talked about Binah being the black sphere above it, the 3rd sphere. And Binah is a radix of red, and therein is a red color, even though we're talking about a black sphere here. Underneath that is a red, a pure and scintillating and flashing with flame, which is reflected into Geburah. The sphere of its operation is called Madim, or Mars, or violent rushing force, and it bringeth fortitude. and war and strength and slaughter, as it were the flaming sword of an avenging god. And it ruleth the sphere of action of the planet Mars. And Elohim Geburah is, that's the god name for Geburah. Elohim Geburah is the Elohim, mighty and terrible and judging and avenging evil, ruling in wrath and terror and storm, and whose steps are lightning and flame. And its archangel is Kamael. So that's one to remember. Kamael. We'll be saying that again, but it's something to even think about when we start the meditation, is the archangel's name, Kamael. The Prince of Strength and Courage, Kamael. And the name of the order of angels is the Seraphim, the Flaming Ones, who are also called the Order of Powers. And Sephirah Geburah is also called Pachad, terror and fear. Heavens to Betsy. It's also called justice. Keep that in mind. The balance for Chesed, as we were discussing. Geburah tears down. Chesed is loving and merciful. Geburah is demanding of dew. All right. And I don't mean the morning dew. The dews. Pay those dues. The fifth Sephirah, called Strength, may be considered more difficult Sephirah to approach. Its lessons may be overwhelming. It offers a necessary corrective in our lives, tearing away that which is useless, undesirable, or outdated. We see action in Geburah in the fire sweeping in a blighted and dried forest, a war tearing down a diseased society. Any situation in our lives when we are forced by circumstances to begin anew. This is Mars, the planet as well as the Roman god of war, attributed to Geburah. Also to kind of note the symbol Mars is just is male in medicine, the medical symbol for male, just as the symbol for Venus is the medical symbol for female. The influence of Geburah may be mistakenly considered evil, insofar as it brings destruction in one form or another. It is, however, a necessary and holy force in the universe, asserting the requisite balance. This is important. For the fives in the tarot, we have opposition, strife, and struggle. War, obstacle to the thing in hand. Ultimate success is failure, is otherwise shown. In other words, when these tarot cards come up, and what is really symbolized in these seemingly difficult and mostly unpleasant tarot card symbols or illustrations, is not that it's bad stuff, but that it's saying that this is the circumstances, this is the situation, that there's these energies around. It's not saying what the result of that is. It's just more of a heads up in these tarot cards that it may be sort of assertive energy may be required, because that's the situation or the vibe or the where what things are tuned into. Mm-hmm. Pentagon, pentagram, 555. Of course, 5 in the pentagram, of course, is the symbol for the spiritual symbol. It's this, the upright pentagram is this symbol. It's fives, it's energy, but it's the symbol for the 4 elements of manifestation surmounted by spirit. And so it is the symbol for, in that sense, as is so clearly put, which I don't have the image right now, but we can all remember that image of Leonardo da Vinci's image of the person standing there being the star. And so it's very much the number of humanity. So, Vishnu and Shiva, the idea of the creator and the destroyer, that this is a polarity that is intrinsic to creation, that's going to be found in, you know, in all over the place, in the Tao, and in the tree here, we have that balance and that thing's moving between giving and taking, for generosity and limiting. Okay. So I think I think we should move it along. We're going to move it along. And I got my 1, 2, 3, 4. I got my notes in case I need them. And just in the honor of it being Geburah and Mars, I'm going to use my giant menacing Athame.
Because the strength of Geburah is his greatest weapon.
Oh, heavens to Betsy. Greatest weapon. That's right.
Not my words. Robert Wang's words.
That's right.
Wang's words.
Wang's words. So I dedicate this temple to the goddess and the god. And this evening we are connecting to those Mars energies of strength and justice. The smell, the scent is, I've got both scents, and we'll just, if that's not going to bother you, Dallas, too much, a little bit.
Crack the window just a teeny
I
bit.
can crack the window, yes. Interesting dragon's blood. So we got a little combo, the dragon's blood and basil. And sip. And the lotus is like the lotus, higher energies on high. Come on down. So there we go. Is there something else? I think she's got something I wanted to mention. Yes, the Etheric text. The fifth path is called the radical intelligence. Oh, how about that? The radical intelligence. Because it resembles unity, uniting itself to Binah, understanding, which emanates from the primordial depths of Chokmah, wisdom. So what they really think is so important here is that Mars is like a octave down from the supernals, from the eternals, from Binah and Chokmah here are the feminine and masculine ultimate, sort of the goddess and God. So Mars is seen here as the power of the goddess and God, which of course can be, whoa, as we're sort of seeing these days. But you know, everything from it's still natural processes. It's like earthquakes and lightning and thunder and sort of the potential for the intensity of nature. It's not a negative, it's not bad, but it can be difficult hurtful, and intense. So the radical intelligence, gotta like that. Okay. I'm gonna start the tempo.
Everybody ready?
Yeah, start the tempo. Ate, Malkuth, Vega Geburah, Vega Dula, Leola, Amen. Hekis, Hekis, Este Bebeloid. Yaheshua. 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 Forward, big cross with the rose. Yaheshua. 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 Yehovah Shah. Yod He Shin Vo He. Sign of Osiris slain. El, the sign of the morning of Isis. V, the sign of Typhoon Apophis. X, the sign of Osiris risen. L, V, X, Lux, light, light of the cross. Virgo, Isis, mighty mother. Scorpio, Apophis, destroyer. Soul, Osiris, slain, yet risen. Isis, Apophis, Osiris. Exalpeo Koiman Anta Bioteoem. May the divine light descend. May the divine light descend. Like that. We're going to call upon the archangels in the four quarters. I'll just start in the east. Yexarpe. O Ibai Ozod Pi. Yehovah. Yehovah. Hail Raphael, archangel of air in the east. Vahiteo em heye. Oyeteia pedoke. Elohim. Elohim. Hail Michael, archangel of fire. Emperor Al Hail Gabriel, Archangel of the West and water.
Nanta Agala Immortial Hectega Adonai. Hail Ariel, Archangel of the North.
Before us, Raphael, behind us, Gabriel. To the right hand, Michael, and to the left hand, Uriel. About us flames the pentagram, and in the column shines the six-rayed star. As above, so below. Ate Malkuth Vegavora Vegadula Leola Amen. So mote it be this evening. We are traversing the fifth path, Geburah, strength, severity. An image, a mighty warrior in his chariot. God name Elohim Geburah. Archangel Chameah. Order of angels, the seraphim, the fiery serpents. Mundane chakra, Madin, or Mars, the planet Mars. Symbols, pentagon, pentagram, the five-petaled Tudor rose, the sword, the spear, chain, weapons. Tarot, the four fives. Colors, orange, scarlet red, bright scarlet, red flecked with black. The title of the fifth path, it is called this because it is closest to equality with the supreme crown, emanating from the depths of wisdom. Ooh, like that one. The radical intelligence is called this because it is closest to equality with the supreme crown, emanating from the depths of wisdom. Well, yes, of course, as I also have a unicursal hexagram for Mars. So we're going to invoke the energies of Mars, the planet Mars, and Geburah specifically. I'm going to use the east because it's close. There's the kernels. So let's go from that corner. Oops, yes. Elohim Geburah. Ararita Chameah. The seraphim. Yeah. Mars. Aleph. Ararita Aleph. So I'm going to do is talk us through the. Yes, thank you. Talk us through the middle pillar, and off we go. Check out, think about, explore Geburah. Oh, you better be quiet, boo-boo.
One moment. Cat break. Yes, I know, Norm. You want outside.
All right.
There you go, big boy.
Yes, he wouldn't have been quiet.
See.
Okay, relax the body. Relax the jaw. Arms and legs uncrossed, unless you're sitting lotus. But relax, sitting up straight. Breathing deep with the diaphragm and the lungs and the chest. Try to establish the 4 square breath. Breathe in for your own personal count of 4. Pause for a count of 4. Breathe out for slowly for a same count of 4. Pause for a count of 4. The 4 square breath. In for 4, pause. Out for 4, pause. All while thinking about that and trying to relax the body. Stay relaxed. In this way we can breathe very deeply. Don't force the pauses. If it's hard to pause that long, just breathe. Don't hold the breath. Just breathe. It's all about being relaxed. And this allows us to breathe very deeply and not hyperventilate. Throughout the meditation, if you find your rational mind thinking about this or that, you can always get back to establishing the 4 square breath. Now, while we're doing that, we're thinking of this orb of white, pure white light atop the head. It's active, it's scintillating, it's pure white. It's source energy atop the head, in a sphere atop the head. Its God name is Aheye. Aheye. Imagine the light energy coming down through the top of your head to form a channel of light energy and a lavender orb of light around the throat area. Its God name is Yehovah Elohim. Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim.
Yehovah Elohim. Yehovah Elohim. Lighting extension to us, from on high to us. And imagine the light energy moving deeper into the body from the lavender orb of light to form a yellow, bright orb of light behind the solar plexus in the center of the body. It's the light of Yehovah Elohim. Yehovah Elohim. Light of compassion, light, let it shine out. The heart light. From the yellow orb of light, imagine the channel of light descending to the groin area, forming a purple orb of light. It's the light of life. Shaddai El Chai.
Shaddai El Chai.
Shaddai El Chai. Imagine the light energy descending through the body, between the legs, part of the body space, and moving down to form a russet orb of light at the feet, the light of form. Spirit inner. Adonai Haaretz.
Adonai Haaretz.
Adonai Haaretz. Bring the attention back to the orb of white light. Imagine the orb of white light atop the head. On the exhale, imagine light energy moving down through the left side of the body to the feet. On the inhale, imagine light energy moving up from the orb at the feet through the right leg, to the right side of the body to the top of the head. Exhale light energy down through the left side of the body. Inhale light energy up through the right side of the body. And on the next exhale, bring light energy down over the face, over the front of the body, through the front of the body to the feet. And inhale light energy up along the back of the body to the top of the head. Exhale light energy down through the front of the, over the front of the body. Inhale light energy up along the calves, along the back of the body. Okay, ready? On an inhale, collect the light energy at the orb at the feet. On the exhale, release, imagine the light energy releasing and shooting up through the middle pillar, through these spheres of light, through the body, through the top of the head. Imagine light energy fountaining down, all again, fountaining down all through this personal space in your light body, through your body, to the feet, to be collected at the inhale and released on the exhale, up. Feel the light energy on the exhale being drawn up through the body, from the top of the head. Begin visualizing. We've been going to our own personal place in giant tree roots at the base of our own great tree of life. And in this space, there is a sheltering, safe space. And from this space, we've called in the Mars energies, and we wish to understand how these energies of force and justice may be integrated into our lives. You think of the tarot cards of the fives, of symbols, of the Tudor rose, of the pentagon, the warrior in the chariot, doing the bidding of the divine, the avenging force. I don't know if it'll help you, but I hear like a drum. It seems appropriate. Or the banging on a great hollow log. They are not the drums of war, though they may be. I hear a drum which is a warning. a warning for all can hear. Okay. Close. I thank the guardians of the quarters for their presence, protection, and energies. Thank the energies of Mars, all that you do, and for the blessings. Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael. We thank you. Well, if you must, stay if you will. Must be. Energies of Mars. Mars. Dismissed. The channel to the Mars energy is back to the closed specific line anyway. Ate, Malkuth, Geburah, Geburah, Levam, and temple be closed. There's my thing. And turn the light back on. And, all right. Well, I don't want to interrupt you, Dallas, because I see you're busy trying to record stuff. So, I got a couple things though I'll say right away. Is I just kind of went somewhere that I developed recently as a place I go quite a bit, where I meet this guide. The guy's kind of a Sasquatch being. He's not human. And it felt this like rumbling, and I got this idea that this is like deity walking on the earth, and the idea that this would seem to be creating like earth tremors, and this idea that on this plane of manifestation, you have those old child stories about, oh well, the thunder and lightning is God's bowling or what have you. These cute little stories, but that these have been with us for forever, for aeons, and the idea here is that yes, that on this plane of the earth plane with Mother Nature, that yes, there are severe things that happen. There's like earth movements, great storms, kind of volcanoes, viruses even. But the idea that these big shakeups, literally, sometimes, are just what happens on this earth plane when, quote unquote, the gods are moving, are doing things, are creating change on another plane, that we get a shakeup on this plane. And not that there is malevolence. No, it's not malevolent. Nobody's being mean. It's more the transformation and change. The Mars energy in this context is natural and necessary for things to evolve and develop and grow. And it's all a part of the dispensation of energy into, like, that actual benevolent Jupiter energy is being dispensed, distilled, dispensed, distributed, and that these processes are sometimes see a shaky shakeup, because it's regardless, it's always the way things are. The status quo must change. It's back to, like, kind of the I Ching. That what's the I Ching, right? The I Ching is about the only constant is change, and we got to be kind of used to that. I hope it wasn't disruptive at the beginning, but I just really almost, like, in my inner, not outside, but in my inner, as soon as I started to meditate, I was getting this, like a primitive drum, boom, boom, boom. It was sort of slow and constant. The idea of the warning. Well, what is it the warning of? It's the warning of, it's sort of the mirroring of this pattern of the energy, of an expression of energy. And it's like there's an expression of energy. So, we almost ready now?
Sorry.
We almost ready to, I'm running out of stuff to say.
Oh, sorry. And I was still trying to remember what I was doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, the drum thing. Yes. The drum, I always relate to the heartbeat of the earth.
Right.
That booming, boom, boom.
Nice.
Boom. I went to the tree this time, but I didn't go inside the roots. I was standing outside. All the weapons were around me, and I had a sword in my hand, sort of as protecting what has gone on before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in armor, and the sky was really angry and gray, and like dark gray clouds, but really disturbed looking clouds. And the tree had no leaves on it. It was very stark. And I feel an energy that I think is Kamael. And there's rumblings. This is what I've written. Rumbling sounds like distant thunder approaches. It's a tall warrior-like being, and I get a feeling of like Aries, like the god of war. Aries, Mars. And I standing before him with my arm and sword raised, but not in salute.
Yeah, that works.
And there's no fear, but I feel very strong. And it puts its hands sort of on me, kind of on my shoulders. And I can feel an energy, and it's saying to me, fortitude and self-determination is the path. Don't falter. And then that's where we were when the bell rang.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's energy. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's an initiation.
So, yo, look out.
Oh,
Whoa.
oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right.
So I'm sure when I go back there, because I'm going to revisit this, I'm sure there's more that'll be revealed. But yeah, that's being in a protective, like protecting what's behind me, being family and
Right.
and the other gifts and energies that have gone previous
You know.
to me. And I saw God, I remember now, there was a line of women, but they were all my ancestors. All my ancestors, and they were all these strong women that I've admired. And there was my mother, of course, who was a warrior in her own right, having been, gone to war, been literally gone to war. My grandmother, who was a warrior, by coming to this country, leaving a place that had electricity and indoor plumbing and all the amenities in Norway, and coming to isolation in Melakula, where there was nothing. And
the wilderness, basically.
The wilderness. And my great grandmothers and the grandmothers before, and as the faces sort of faded, because I don't really know their faces, but I could feel their energy supporting me and being with me, like in a phalanx, like out to either side of me. So yeah. Whew.
Cool.
Whew.
But that calls to mind, of course, today, early this morning in the AM, like 2:30 AM this morning or so in Pacific time, was the new moon in Aries.
Right.
So it's interesting that when I was writing my astrological blurb about today, I really wanted to say something about the past as we choose from our past what we want to be our foundation, our place where the rock on which we stand.
Right.
Is what we choose out of our past we stand upon that, and that's our kind of our foundation for going forward. But,
yeah, I very much can feel that for sure. Yeah.
But nonetheless, the big thing, of course, a new moon in Aries is all about a new beginning. But that's not necessarily a rejection of the past. It's a choosing what we want to kind of get our strength from, our stability from, our courage from.
Yeah.
And in that regard, you don't have to choose everything. You can. Any kind of new moon is also about a banishing, of getting rid of what is outworn beliefs or things that are in your way, about a letting go. The new moon is the banishing time. But nonetheless, it is also. But you don't want to banish it all, because there's strength in that foundation, and not all that foundation is good things. As you're saying, the strong women were the people that took on challenges.
Yes.
That thrived beyond misfortune and made it through those challenges. They consciously took on. Your mom joined the military. Your grandma moved continents from civilization to the wilderness. And those are the things that kind of strengthen us, that it's not even those bad experiences or those errors in judgment, you know, from decades ago or last week. I mean,
Mhm.
they're not all to be just kind of, some of those are, that's where we got our strength from.
Mhm. Mhm.
And some of that's to be cherished as
Yeah.
well as the hard things, like all those situations in the Five of Swords. I'm appreciation for the fives in the tarot.
Sure, the
Because
struggle,
after this,
the
the struggle,
yeah.
whether it's an emotional disappointment or whatever, arguments, clashes of egos,
Mhm.
in the Five of Wands, emotional disappointment in the Five of Cups, actual somebody being mean or angry in the Five of Swords.
Yeah.
That these are the things that strengthen us.
Mhm. Mhm. I think that's where that fortitude, that was the first word that I heard, was like, it was like echoed, in like that, like the thundering, you know, and
Come right out of the drums.
yeah, yeah. And it's just like, hold on. This is, you know, this is the time to be strong, you know, and stand
for what's right, what you
Yeah.
believe in, what you kind of gain from your past experience.
Yeah, all the teachings that went before me,
Yeah, are there.
this is where I am, and that's what you can draw on, is all of those teachings.
Mhm.
You know, whether it's in your DNA after a while, so you know, whether it's recent or something past,
Yeah.
that, you know, that is passed on. We are our grandmother's children, this womb, and that goes back generations, you know. So yeah, huh.
All right.
All right. How's everybody doing? Thumbs up? Hello?
There she is.
Thumbs up? Woohoo! So,
All right. Well,
hey.
thanks. We're gonna.
Oh, I can't
Hey.
hear you, Liam. Turn your,
Can't hear ya.
can't hear you. Hello? No, can't hear you.
No sound. Okay,
Liam-
thanks everybody.
Liam's
We're
on-
gonna can
Liam's
it.
on live, so we'll talk to you guys all later. Love to hear anything that, all of your experiences as well. And let's see how this went. And